It's 10:30. Let's rock and roll.
Here we go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. There you are. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity of London. And this morning, we especially welcome Dr. Nancy Little, who will be our guest speaker today. So we are delighted to have you. And so we welcome everyone who is here today online, and those who may listen to this service later. So wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you are welcome, and we are glad you are here. So Unity of London has a vision that it has in common with a lot of other Unity centers. And our vision is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And so what does that mean? I mean, really, what does that mean? So to go along with this in ways that we can fulfill our vision is our mission. And our mission is co-creating with Spirit to transform lives through shared spiritual awakening. And so clearly we can do that by being a loving, inclusive, supportive community. And here we are this morning expressing that by promoting self-expression, speaking the truth, the unity truth that we know, by living what we believe, the 5 principles, including there is only one power and one presence in the world, God the good, omnipotent. And by inspiring people to make a positive difference in the world. Now that inspiration does not need to be feeding everybody in the world. It could be as simple as feeding your neighbor, helping people out that are close around you that need help, that are struggling. So that will make a positive difference in their lives. And also by providing fellowship and education for spiritual speakers of all walks of life. And I know in September, there's lots going on in that area at Unity of London. So after the service, we will have one-on-one time for you if you would like prayer with a prayer chaplain. And today's prayer chaplains are Sylvia Vanderhook and Pauline Duncan Thrasher. And so is there anyone right now that would like prayer after, so that we know if you would just like to put your hand up and we can make a note of that? Or the other thing that you can do is down at the bottom, at least at the bottom of my screen, there's a little chat button. So if you click the chat button and click on Larry Bro, you can say, Larry, I'd like prayer after the service, and he will arrange that for you. Thanks very much for that, Larry. So big day coming up this week, September 8th and 9th, is the Unity World Day of Prayer. And this theme this year is All Is Well With My Soul. And those of you may know that as a song that you can sing along with. And so to partake in all of the activities that Unity Village has with World Day of Prayer, you can go on and you can register at www.unity.org/WDOP, World Day of Prayer. So please take time to check out what's going on that and join thousands of people worldwide for Unity World Day of Prayer. And so this morning, speaking of prayer, just make yourselves comfortable in your seats and we will go into prayer now. Close your eyes if that feels what is right for you. And so as we come together this morning, we are grateful for the opportunity to spend this time with our Unity community. In September, our power for this month is order, which is the intelligence of the universe expressing through each one of us. Order is located right around your stomach in the navel area. And so we affirm this morning, my life is balanced and in order, and all is well. And so as we go into prayer, we bless everyone attending all spiritual gatherings, knowing that there are many paths to the one God. We bless those watching online and all those at home who are using this day to take care of themselves or their families. We bless those who are experiencing upheaval in their countries, especially those people living in Afghanistan. We bless our leaders, trusting that they are being guided by the divine spirit and that they are making the best decisions possible. We bless our leaders in Canada as we prepare for an election on September 20th, trusting that the right and perfect leader will emerge to guide and work with the people of Canada in the upcoming years. We lift up anyone who is experiencing any challenges, trusting that the highest and best is unfolding for them, that everything is in divine order, and that the love of the divine spirit is surrounding them right now. We take this opportunity to hold anyone that you wish in blessings and prayer, and to speak their names quietly into this space. We bless our fellow Unity churches, Unity Kitchener and Unity Spiritual Center in Hamilton, our closest Unity of London neighbors. And so as we move forth into the day, we understand and affirm that I am one with all that is. Everything is in divine order And so it is, and so I let it be. Amen. And so today our daily word is going to be read by Dawn Briglio. So take that away, Dawn.
Thank you. Today's reading is entitled Balance. With God, I live a life of balance. Work can be a fulfilling use of my talents and efforts. I may enjoy the challenge of growing in responsibility and using my ambition to accomplish great things. But if I work too much and for too long, my energy might start to wane and my thinking become dull and uninspired. Likewise, too much leisure time may rob me of motivation and pull me into a spiral of inactivity. Spiritual practices bring precious balance into my life. Through prayer, I touch eternity and feel the presence of God within. Through meditation, I focus my mind and feel calm and grounded. Through speaking affirmations, I claim divine ideas and actions on inspiration. In gratitude, I find balance in God, the one presence and one power in my life. Let me be weighed in a just balance and let God know my integrity. Job 31, verse 6. Now let me introduce our speaker. Our guest speaker serves as a self-care instructor for UWSI, spiritual leader of Unity Spirit of Aloha Alternative Ministry. She's a member of the Hawaii UWM Leadership Recruitment and Development Team. Nancy published her second book, Energy Sparks to Recharge, Refresh, and Revitalize in 2020. She's a professional member of National Speakers Association. With her presentation, Sow Seeds of Self-Care, please help me in welcoming Dr. Nancy Little.
Good morning, everybody. It is so great to be with you today. I am grateful to Pauline for inviting me. Pauline was a participant, a student in my self-care class. So we have that bond. What a great setup you all have. And it is amazing how beautifully the words that you've already spoken and the daily word synchronize with my message today. So let me see if I can make this work and move the slides forward. I thought I had it, but it doesn't seem to be moving.
Just all you need to do is click on the screen or the small arrow at the bottom of the slide window.
Yeah, okay, I'm just, I see the screen, I just don't see the arrow right now. Let's see.
That's the back arrow. There we go.
There we are. So, seeds of self-care. What a perfect message for the week that we move towards Unity's World Day of Prayer. And as we transition into the fall of this year of 2021, I invite you to listen to the Indian proverb and take it into your heart. All the flowers of all the tomorrows are in the seeds of today. So ponder for yourself as you hear my message and see the slides and read the ideas that I'm presenting. What kinds of seeds are you sowing? And are you truly sowing the kinds of seeds that will allow you to flourish, that will move you into a harmonious flow, living your divine identity and planting the kinds of beautiful flowers that you see on the screen now? Beautiful mums, one of my favorite fall flowers. I don't know if you've been planting in your own yard or bringing flowers into your space or just admiring the landscape as you travel through your neighborhoods or maybe visit some of your own botanical gardens. But isn't this a beautiful array of color and life that makes us just so inspired to find even more beauty and more variety and more spark for ourselves? But on the other hand, what about this weed? This is my least favorite weed, ragweed. Do any of you have fall allergies? Do you have a reaction to the ragweed that flourishes in the autumn? Now, consider this. Weeds are often considered flowers until they become harmful, and they tend to take over our landscape. They invade our turf and they start depriving the nourishment and the water from the plants that we really want to cultivate, that we want to enhance, that we want to grow. They cause other issues when weeds invade. They invite in insects and other harmful ways of destroying the life that you want to nurture. So how can you create a parallel to your own life when you think about weeds? You know, I metaphorically like to weed my yard because I think as I pull weeds that it's a way of using denials, that I'm releasing, that I'm letting go of anything that is unlike my true Christ nature. So can you see the connection to the weeds that you may have still subtly in your life? Maybe it's unforgiveness, maybe it's anger, maybe it's resentment, but it's all the things that rob you of your vital energy. We have to be very intentional about what we do sow at this season, at this time of our life. The fall we're moving into, we have a third of our year left, 2021. Basically, we have the last 4 months of the year. What do we want to flourish and what do we want to release? Because not all of the seeds bear the fruit that we want to see. So how can you address this? How can you reclaim what you want in your life, what you want to sustain you? What proactive and purposeful and intentional steps will you take to provide more light, more nourishment, more beauty, and more joy? What life-affirming steps will you take moving forward, despite the obstacles that we are confronting right now? And I know there are many. I'm in Texas. We have a lot of issues in our state. It is ragweed season. There are other stressors and challenges that I face and I know you face. But what are we going to do to lighten our load and heighten our happiness? I just came up with this new catchphrase as I was preparing for this talk, and I'm really fired up about it. I think I'm going to make some posters or some signs to put around my house. Lighten my load, heighten my happiness. And I know what I can do. And I don't always practice it in the most systematic and intentional ways. Maybe you can relate. Sometimes I don't recognize what I'm carrying that's weighing me down, that I need to release and let go, like we sang earlier today. I know that I can do some very meaningful quiet time and other strategies to support me in my movement forward. And part of it involves the intentional practice of self-care. How do you focus on yourself first so that you create that balance and order and harmony so that you can thrive despite the sometimes weeds that unfortunately pop up in our lives? Well, I'm going to be sharing with you today from the book that was mentioned, my new tip book. It is the required textbook for my self-care class that I teach through UWSI, and the way that Pauline and I began to link up and join our hearts together. So what I want to do is reveal to you some of the ways that you can invite more self-care into your life. And I'm going to start with recharge. Now, I know that you all have had the experience of having one of your devices get really low or maybe even die because you didn't plug it back in, right? You didn't get that charging cable and put it in the wall so that it could draw that valuable juice in order to recharge. Well, let's look at a few of the ways that you can recharge, starting with affirm your uniqueness. So every one of you have those unique qualities that you bring to the world. Just consider for a moment, what is it about you that is so special? You have these characteristics and these traits that make the world a truly better place. And you might have learned maybe somewhere in your upbringing that it wasn't good to talk positively about yourself. Maybe somebody told you that that was being boastful or self-centered. But I'm going to encourage you to quietly in your meditation time, or as you're driving, or whatever takes you through your day, to out loud and on purpose affirm qualities about yourself. It is energizing. Maybe do it in front of a mirror. And I like to use a process of using each letter of the alphabet just to take me through. So I might say, I am athletic, I am bold, I am caring, I am determined, just to give you an idea how this goes. So that's affirm your uniqueness. It's okay to love yourself. Those uplifts give you that needed energy to propel you forward. Self-talk sparks is another way that you can give yourself some renewed energy, that you can act as a calming and concerned comrade or colleague or caring friend to yourself, that you can just have that gentle, loving voice to talk your way through some difficult times. You know, you can either be a caring coach or you can act like a perturbed parent. Do you ever have that perturbed parent voice go off where you're criticizing and acting in a condescending way to yourself? Flip the script and find some ways to become a supportive ally or a marvelous mentor to yourself. And like I was saying, write yourself some messages, and that can help re-energize you. The third tip under recharge is self-forgiveness revisited. Maybe your journey forward is stalling. Maybe you're having some old shame issues or guilt resurface. Maybe you're involved in some self-blame. Maybe you've made a choice even recently, that you're regretting. So it's important to move through that process of self-forgiveness. We know that in life, we have to pivot time and time again. And sometimes the hardest person to forgive on our journey is our very own selves. So let go of those limiting beliefs, do a forgiveness process, or if you want to talk it through with somebody else, talk to a prayer chaplain, talk to a spiritual leader, or talk to a close friend that you trust, and let that go so that you can renew and move forward with love for you, which ties into self-compassion. You know, we're often more compassionate with other people than ourselves. So again, when we know that we're off kilter, we need to remind ourselves that it's okay, that we can self-soothe, that we can say, as they often do in the Buddhist tradition, I'm having a moment of suffering. If you don't like the term suffer, then change it to discomfort or pain or uncertainty or confusion, and talk your way through it. Know that it's okay to have a down moment, and use some of the tools that you can, whether it's a self-soothing technique like practicing affirmations, or giving yourself a gentle head massage on the temples, or just even calmly and gently massaging your wrist. You know, when I'm stressed, sometimes I just rub my wrist or this crook in my arm, and it can be in a very heated conflictual situation or a tough conversation, and it's a way to recharge yourself and keep your energy up. So those are the ideas under recharge, and I hope those spark some new insights and some new ideas for you. Now, the ingenious internal maneuvers are similar in some ways, but what it involves is using calm words to soothe your soul. Again, they can be the affirmations. Maybe you have some YouTube videos of beautiful scenery, or you have your own personal videos of the ocean or the mountains, or of you riding a horse or roller skating or surfing, or whatever it is that you do that gives you that exhilarated feeling. It's important to practice the steps that bring you back. Now, one of the ways that we've been feeling some disconnect is through the social distancing and the physical distancing that we've done during the pandemic. Having your sessions, your Sunday services remote has left some of you feeling less connected than you'd like. Some of you have not even been able to see family. So cultivate connections and invite somebody to go with you for some food, a talk, or a walk. Find those ways that you can share your heart from an intimate space, because that will offer you that sense of renewal. Safe and soothing sanctuaries. Those are the places, your go-to places when things take a nosedive, when you get that call, when you have some information that you read on Facebook that distresses you, when you get the doctor's letter saying that you need to come back in for more tests. Have those places identified that restore you. I like water elements. So there's a place near where I live, there's a lake, and they have these fountains, and I love that quiet sanctuary. Maybe you have fountains within your own home, or a garden, or a meditation space. Know the places to go and to be quiet. That boosts your resilience. And then finally, under resilience, remember when. You've already navigated so many challenges on your life journey. Remember that, recall that, have the opportunity to review some of the things that you've already overcome and remind yourself of those inner divine qualities that you have. I like to have my students write a letter from their higher self that reminds them of their courage, their strength, their wisdom. And then that gives you something you can read over and over again. The final 4 tips from my book are under the category of realization. I'm sharing with you 3 of the 13 categories. They all start with an R. Pauline and I recognize that we both like alliteration a lot. And so go for gratitude. It's a fact based on neuroscience that if you consistently practice looking for the good in your environment, scanning the environment and finding 3 new and different things every day that you feel gratitude for, that you actually form neural pathways that will later influence you to look for the things that are uplifting and that you appreciate rather than scanning the environment for the negatives. Gratitude is part of our spiritual practice, and it truly, truly supports us to live a joy-filled life. Forgiveness freedom means not only do you have to forgive yourself, but there may be somebody else or some other situation that you haven't fully forgiven. It may be related to an incident that involves an organization or even a country or a specific leader. Find the ways to continue to resolve that burden that you carry. As we move into silent self-awareness, we are guided by the insights that come to us through our divine messages, through our divine inspiration, and we can support our well-being by carving at that time. And finally, candlelight. I love being surrounded by candles, both the kind that are lit and the kind that just flicker, the ones that are fueled by a battery. Surround yourself in candlelight and recognize that you are the divine light and that you are having an effect on everybody around you. You are creating beautiful ripple effects if you can remember who you are and who you have come here to be. We recall the words in her book, Healing Letters, of Myrtle Fillmore, our Unity co-founder. We must have quiet and an opportunity for inner searching. This is not, it would be nice to, when you get around to it, if you can carve out some time once a month. This is a must. This is a daily intention. And I know that you all have that intention and that desire. Sometimes the busyness of our life causes us to get distracted, but bring yourself back to center. And consider this: what seeds are you showing? What are you showing up as when you come to situations where you're with other people, whether it's family or spiritual community or work? We have both inside and outside feelings that we show. Sometimes we show up all smiley when what we really want to do is be crying or letting our tears flow. It's important to create a place where you can be genuinely authentic and that you have the friends and the people in your life that can see you both from your place of joy and your place of grief. Make sure that you have that nurtured for you. It will help you live a more balanced and orderly and peace-filled life. You know, this is a lot of information that I've shared, and we're just barely scratching the surface. What I'm hoping that I'm doing today is planting some seeds for you as you claim that divine identity and you really call forth that inner power. And just knowing that as we move forward from this moment, that we are calling forth on that divine wisdom, that faith, and that strength to continue to grow and evolve so gloriously on this journey that we call life. And I want to close today with a really unique and special prayer that I learned in my internship during my LUT program at Unity Church of Hawaii, where I lived and studied for 8 months with my friend and mentor, Reverend Sky St. John. And the words are so perfect for this message of sowing seeds of self-care. So just look at the words, take a deep breath with me as we begin this beautiful prayer. Father, Mother, birther and breath of all, create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Let oneness now prevail. Your one desire flows through ours as energy fills all forms. Give us this day our physical and spiritual nourishment. Untangle those knots of error that bind us as we release others. Don't let appearances make us forgetful of the source, but free us to act appropriately. For age to age, from you comes the glorious harmony of life. May these words be fertile ground from which our future seeds grow. And so it is. And so that moves us now into our time of prayer and meditation. If you'll just join me with a deep cleansing breath, inhaling through your nose and releasing through your mouth. Join me in traveling down this serene path and looking inward. Looking inward, I am guided to see myself moving in a new way. I seem to be moving in an empowered direction, experiencing wonder and awe, as well as curiosity. Just hear each of these words and statements as your own, as we move deeper and deeper into this place of quiet, inviting the divine intuition to wash over us. What insights and understandings await me today? What new sense of strength will support me and keep me grounded? How will faith sustain me through all the turbulence of these times? How will I be called to love more fully and widely than before? What do I need to release to move forward unencumbered? As I open my heart and allow myself to hear the small, still voice, I begin to feel rejuvenated and restored. Harmonious, happy feelings expand within filling me with a renewed sense of hope. As my gratitude expands, I recognize the divine wisdom that flows through my being. I radiate appreciation and I let it flow through all the cells of my body in this divine moment. One step at a time, I commit to move forward into what is mine to do. I see all aspects of my life in order against a backdrop of gratitude, spiritual purpose, and direction. If I notice I am wishing for something that has not yet appeared, I trust that my good easily comes to me in divine timing. If I begin to feel overwhelmed with responsibilities, or if life feels out of balance, I turn away from those outer appearances. I visualize my life as a beautiful path, a journey of discovery and joy. I see my body working in divine order. It is healthy and whole and full of energy and life. I call upon divine order to create balance in my daily journey, to ensure wellness in all aspects of my life, physical, emotional, social, intellectual, and spiritual. I take time to appreciate nature, its beauty, balance, and timing. I delight in the symmetry of a seashell, the power of a waterfall, or the layers of art in a cloud. As I create a sense of order in my home, work, and volunteer activities, I discovered a renewed sense of balance, comfort, and peace. I live on purpose in alignment with the universe. And I take a moment to pause in this now moment, to listen for any additional inspiration, intuition, divine messaging. With another deep cleansing breath, I once again affirm, I live on purpose and alignment with the universe. I affirm there is one presence and one power in my life. All else falls into place. I claim divine order now, and all is well. And so it is. And so I let it be. Amen and amen.
Well, thank you, Dr. Little, for that inspiring talk today. Yes, we all are sowing seeds, whether we realize that are not at the time. And so I do believe in what you said, that it's really important to sow the seeds that we want to sow. And even though we may not see the results of them immediately, to know that that is what is growing, that is what is growing. And some of the things that you talked about too, in terms of sort of recharging yourself, certainly I'm living in more of a remote place than what I was. And so every morning when I've been coming in to where I soon will be living, I cross this bridge where there's water on both sides. So it just makes it, to me, that just being there centers me in that moment. And of course, this morning too, I just had to stop and take some pictures of the twin fawn deer that were up the hill here. So, just to see them playing and be just so joyful. So that centers me in my heart. And so it's nice to know that with what you've talked about, that there's sort of more structure and more outline of what we can actually do to be able to remain centered, to recharge ourselves, to sow those seeds of goodness and light in our lives. So from my heart, our hearts, I thank you.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. The different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power, oh, one power is what we are. One power, one power. One power. the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power. What we are is one forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me.
So we take a moment to thank the source of all of our abundance, knowing many allow the supply to flow through them to Unity of London in the form of financial gifts and tithes. We thank those who give spontaneous gifts as they have a call upon their heart to do so. We see you receiving spontaneous spurts of prosperity as the energy returns to you. We thank those who give regularly in the form of a tithe. We see your understanding of the flow growing abundantly. We thank those who are new to us for giving to us of your time. We appreciate you and hope you come back and consider being a member of our wonderful community. And as the word on the slide says, or as the message on the slide says, you can now e-transfer your donations to unityoflondon@hotmail.com. So some people have been having a little bit of a challenge with this because they've been looking for a payment link, like if you pay your credit card or whatever you do, that you pay regularly with your bank account. So Unity of London is not set up like that. You would send an e-transfer to Unity of London, just like you would send an e-transfer to your friend if they had, if you owed them some money or wanted to send them a gift. So just please know that it's just a regular e-transfer. It's not a payment link. So I hope that clarifies up any concern or confusion that there was. And so this morning, the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yay, God. And so now our peace song. Okay, so everybody have a great day, a great week. As those of you that have people who are going back to school on Tuesday, we bless all of those. Blessings with happiness and health as they return to that program. So I hope you can stay around and to talk to Dr. Little and to comment on her presentation today. So any comments for Dr. Little? Teresa, just unmute yourself, please, Teresa.
I just want to say, Dr. Little, that I have your little book
Oh, yay.
and I have really enjoyed it. I got it from Pauline. So yeah, really nice little book.
Thank you. And thanks to Pauline for gifting it to you.
Yes. And your talk was wonderful.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's great to be here. I've looked forward to this for a long time.
Okay, other comments? Okay, Sylvia Vanderhook.
Well, we're really glad you made it this time, all intact. We assume that your leg healed very quickly and efficiently.
Well, I'm still in physical therapy, but everything is amazingly well for the kind of fracture that I had, and I don't have any limitations, the bone's filling in, and it's all good. Yeah, it's super strong, and I don't even set off the security when I go through the airport. I thought that might be kind of interesting. They were saying, oh yeah, they can see your rod and the screws. I have a rod that goes all the way down to my knee and 4 screws, but no big noises, nothing dramatic at the airport.
That's good. That's good. And where is
I did ask my doctor how much it weighed because I was going to blame that for any weight gain I might have. But it was very minimal. So I can't even go there.
and where is it that you live, Dr. Little?
I live in the Dallas area,
Okay.
but I also have a home in Lexington, Kentucky.
Mm.
So that's where I grew up. So if you ask me where's home, I almost always instinctively say Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay.
But right now I am in the Dallas, Texas area.
Wonderful.
So it is still over 100 degrees with the heat humidity index. So I am looking forward to fall.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I'd love to come up and visit you someday when that is possible. Just about 3 years ago, I was in Canada. I went with a group of women. It's called Leadership Women International. And we went to Montreal and Quebec City for a series of meetings and experiences. And it was just breathtaking. I've been talking about it ever since, especially Quebec City. I kept saying Europe. I kept saying it's so great to be in Europe. I mean Canada, because it reminds me so much of some of the beauty I experienced in parts of Europe with all the gorgeous flowers and just the hospitality and the love. So I look forward to being able to come back if they ever let us across the border again.
Well, I'm sure it'll happen.
Absolutely. Okay, Sylvia Square.
Yes, Dr. Little, I just wanted to, golly, I have so many words, they can't all make their way out the doorway. Thank you so much for your message today. I couldn't even write fast enough, so I know I'm going to revisit this one for sure. I can't tell you what wonderful timing your message has been for me personally, and it's really landed on my heart, and I'm just so full of gratitude. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
Sylvia,
being with us today.
I'm having a very touching moment myself. Yeah, I'm glad that you got some resonance and that you're feeling some feelings, whatever whatever they all are. It's beautiful. Yeah. I do this with my friend that is 96 that I wasn't able to see for a long time. When we talk, we do these hugs. So I'm giving you a hug, Sylvia, and everybody a hug. I wish I could give you a real heartfelt hug, but hopefully you feel it. That's really great. Yeah, there's always that timing, huh? Well, it was amazing to me how much of what you shared with what the Daily Word said, and how everything, there was such synchronicity, and the music that you chose. I love Daniel Nahmod. I've met him on a number of different occasions. I have every single one of his CDs. Some I bought more than once just to give to other people, as I'm sure some of you can relate.
Mhm. Well, right now, I want to give a big hug to our good friends, Fred and Beulah General. Fred, how nice to see you. We haven't seen you in weeks. So great. You're looking as handsome as ever, I must say.
I've been here, but not in view of you.
Okay.
He sits in his chair to hear you, yes.
I
Oh,
can't do much more.
well, we're just glad to see you in person, and we're glad too that you continue to show up for these services, and we just love you and bless you. Yeah, there's Catherine waving at you too, and Sylvia, all sorts of people waving at you this morning. So that's pretty special. That's pretty special.
Waves